Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to be making lemon coconut loaf cake, and the ingredients for this, which I'll tell you now, you can also see underneath this video. There'll be a link to the baking blog with that recipe. The ingredients are 200 grams of self-raising flour and a pinch of salt, and they've been sifted together in this bowl, 200 grams of caster sugar, 120 grams of butter at room temperature, 2 medium eggs, in the US that would be large eggs, 120 millilitres of semi-skimmed milk, 4 tablespoons of desiccated coconut, 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, and I've got lemon juice here. I need 2 teaspoons for the cake and 3 teaspoons for the icing, so they're both in here. And then I have 3 tablespoons of icing sugar and a little bit of extra coconut to sprinkle on the top. So to start off, we're going to cream the batter together with the caster sugar and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And we'll scrape that down, make sure we get all the sugar incorporated. Now I'm preheating the oven to 180 Celsius, 160 fan, 350 Fahrenheit, so that will be ready. So we want to add our eggs, but try to add them one at a time. And you want to mix them until they're well incorporated before you add the next one. Now sometimes you may find that the batter separates once you add the eggs, but it doesn't really matter, because once the flour goes in it will all come together. So we'll scrape it down again. And then we want to add the flour and the milk, but we do that in 5 stages. So we add some of the flour and we alternate it with some of the milk. So we'll do a third of the flour, scrape it down again, and add half the milk. Then we add more flour. scrape it down again. The other half of the milk. Then we add the remainder of the flour. Scrape it down to get the flour off the edge again. Right, that's nicely combined. So we take the paddle out. And we add in our coconut and our lemon zest, and we fold those in. So that's folded in quite nicely. So the next thing is to take a £2 loaf tin, 900 gram loaf tin, which I've lightly greased, and we're going to pour our mixture into the loaf tin. Now you can line the loaf tin if you want to, but it should be okay just being greased. Oops, made another mess. So then we just roughly even that out. It will, because it's quite runny, it will even itself anyway. And we're going to put that in the oven for 1 hour. And that's, as I said before, on 180 Celsius, 160 Celsius fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And after an hour it should have risen nicely. It will probably split along the top. They usually do this sort of cake. And a skewer poked into the centre should come out dry. So then once that's done, I'll take it out of the oven and allow it to cool for 10 minutes. Then I'll be back with you and we'll do the icing and put some coconut on the top. So I'll be back with you in about an hour and 10 minutes after the cake's cooled down, and we'll go on to the next step. So welcome back. Now here's the cake. It baked for just an hour. I've taken it out of the pan, and now we're going to make a light icing which we can brush over the top and then sprinkle with coconut. Then as the icing sets, the coconut will become affixed to the top of the cake. So I'm going to take my 3 tablespoons of icing sugar, and I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of lemon juice and see how that works. I think that's okay. That's thickens a little bit, but not too much. So I'm not going to use too much. I'm just going to brush it onto the cake. Of course it will start to soak in as well, giving an extra lemon flavour. And that's enough. And then I'm just going to take some coconut and lightly sprinkle it over. It doesn't need too much. And that's it. So now I'm going to let that cool down, and then once it's cooled down it can be eaten. I just mentioned that as I was cooking it I decided that the edges were going a bit too brown, so I simply got some silver foil into the shape of the tin and I placed it like that, so that the cake can continue to bake but the edges wouldn't go any browner. I think that worked quite well. So that's it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it and that you'll join me again soon. In the meantime, happy baking.